Hi everybody, today I'm going to be talking to you about how Percy Jackson made dyslexia cool. Percy Jackson is a really cool kid. 'Cause he's a kid, he has dyslexia, and he's a demigod. In Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Book 1, The Lightning Thief, it's really cool because Percy Jackson has this really neat sword, and it's named Riptide, and it's a ballpoint pen, and when he uncaps it, it turns into this celestial bronze blade, perfect for dispatching monsters. And this is just one of the most amazing books of all time, and one of my all-time favorites. And right here I have my own little Riptide. I uncap my pen, and I click it, and I don't exactly have a celestial bronze sword, but a really cool pen. And then Book 2, The Sea of Monsters. It's really neat because Percy Jackson has a half-brother named Tyson, and he's a Cyclops. So they work together in the fight against Kronos, which is this really bad giant titan. And so it's great, Annabeth, Grover, Percy, and Tyson taking on these bad guys. So it's so neat. And then in the next book, The Titan's Curse. It's really cool because this new character named Blackjack, he's a Pegasus. A Pegasus is a horse with wings. And Percy, he can talk with horses, so it's really cool. So he has these really very funny discussions with Blackjack. Because Blackjack thinks like a horse, and just imagine having a discussion with a horse. So it's really funny. But he rides Blackjack into battle against the armies of Kronos, so it's really cool. Battle in the Labyrinth is one of my favorite Percy Jacksons, because when you're running down a corridor in this huge labyrinth, and you have a celestial bronze blade in your hand, you have no idea if there's a Minotaur around the next bend, or if Kronos is going to be right there and you're going to have to duel him. So it's really cool, just running through that labyrinth with a celestial bronze blade, fighting off monsters left and right. So it's really neat. And then, The Last Olympian. Now, out of all the Percy Jackson books, this is my absolute favorite. Because Percy Jackson and his team, sort of, take on Kronos in the final battle, and the ancient prophecy is fulfilled. As he battles Kronos and fights all the bad guys, and well, I won't tell you. You have to read the books for yourself to see what happens. In Percy Jackson, The Demigod Files, it's really cool. Because it's a compilement of a bunch of really cool short stories. My favorite is where he has to work with someone named Clarice, and she's a very grumpy girl, but in the end they work together and they succeed. So it's really neat. And then Percy Jackson, The Ultimate Guide. It's really awesome because it has pictures of everybody and it talks about them in a lot of detail. Something I really like is how Percy Jackson looks a lot like me. I find that really cool. And then Rick Riordan has a new series called The Lost Hero, where Percy Jackson he's not as big as a demigod anymore. You know, there's these 3 new demigods who are sort of taking front and center on stage. But Percy Jackson's still a huge character. So it's really cool that there are these new demigods, there's Percy Jackson, there's the old demigods, and they're all working together in a fight against new Greek bad guys. These terrible bad guys from ancient Greek mythology. So that's really awesome. And I really like how Rick Riordan signed the book. You know, before I was Commander Ben, the Invasive Hunter, I had a hero who went around the universe with his blaster, fighting bad guys and monsters. So it was really neat, and I asked Rick Riordan to sign the book to Commander Ben. So Rick Riordan knows about Commander Ben, which is really cool. And then on October 2nd, wait, before I get to that, I have to tell you about Son of Neptune, which is the next book in the Heroes of Olympus series, where Percy Jackson, the Heroes of Olympus series deals with some Roman mythology too. So Percy Jackson is the son of Neptune in this one, and he's lost his memory. He doesn't remember everything. And he only remembers bits and pieces. So he comes into the Roman camp, and he has to work with them to regain his memory. So it's really cool. And on October 2nd, The Mark of Athena, the new Heroes of Olympus book, is coming out. And it's just going to be so cool, and I'm so looking forward to it. And I've just so enjoyed reading the different books. And it's amazing. So I hope you really enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon. Hey, if you're dyslexic, these books are going to be really hard to read. Whether they're a paperback or a big thick book like this, they're all going to be hard for you to read. My mom read the first two to me. Lightning Thief and The Sea of Monsters. And that was so kind of her because she was right there for me. And just imagine, if you're dyslexic and you have to go through these pages, I mean, that's a nightmare for any of us. And so my mom was just great. She read these to me and, it was just so kind of her. And then my dad found out about Learning Ally. And this is a little tool called the Stream. And I listened to all my books on here. I listened to textbooks, I listened to entertainment books. And so it's so cool because this little thing, you'd be amazed how this little thing can empower someone so much. And so it's just so wonderful. You can get, and then, even if you don't have dyslexia and you want to listen to your book, you can get them at your local library. And, I mean, if I hadn't had the Stream, I don't think I ever would have gotten through all the Percy Jackson books. And so it was just so wonderful. I had my mom, I had my dad, and they were right there for me. They were helping me with all the different dyslexic things and getting me all the tools I needed. So they're great parents. And so, and you can also, if you have an iPhone, you don't need the Stream. You can listen to all of your books on here. So that's really amazing. So I just wanted to tell you that.